Hello and welcome to another episode of Gaming Reviews, where this week I'm taking a look at Deepest Trench. I received a review copy of this game from our friends over at Game.Press, so a huge thank you to them and the developers over at Favour Games for the chance to play it. The game's available on PC and Xbox, and at recommended retail price you're looking at around £13 to £17 for the game. For the purpose of this review, I played on the Xbox. So what is it? Well, Deepest Trench promises an exhilarating dive into the Mariana Trench, blending mystery, danger and teamwork in an underwater military operation. The pitch sounds exciting, but does the execution hold up? Let's dive in. Mechanically, the game is played in third person and you'll be playing either solo, where you control both playable characters, Rob and Maria, or you can play local co-op. I played solo and there were no issues with that other than instances where you needed both characters for a puzzle. So in solo mode you can swap characters, and on the Xbox that's with the Y button, and you can call the other character for help with the RB button. But I often found the secondary character lagging quite far behind, so I was constantly swapping between characters to try keep them close together. General controls are as expected. Left stick controls movement, right stick is a camera, press the left stick will speed your character, and whether that's swimming or on foot. Left trigger will aim the single weapon that you'll come across, and right trigger will shoot. Graphically, now the game claims to have breathtaking visuals, but in reality it feels more like an early Xbox 360 title. Underwater environments offer glimpses of what could have been stunning vistas, but the cutscenes look dated, almost like the kind of footage you see in a TV show where it fakes a computer game instead of licensing a real one. Sound-wise, functional but uninspired, effects get the job done while the soundtrack quickly veers into repetitive territory. But the story and the voice acting, so my word, it's bad. It makes those made-for-TV daytime drama shows look dramatic, and possibly I should point more to the script necessarily than the voice acting. But the scene is set very early on in the opening cutscene, with a captain from the Navy visiting a very seedy looking bar where he tries to get your retired ex-Navy SEAL character, who was the best at what they did, to come back for a job. And your character, of course, is just wanting to drink and be left alone. Your character then accepts and attends a briefing where, surprise, surprise, his ex-wife is there. Of course, they hate each other, but they have to put their differences apart to work together. Do they? Well, we've got this game, so of course they do. The game itself is serviceable. You'll be working your way through an underwater facility solving puzzles. The puzzles themselves are the classic sort of needing both characters to pull a lever at the same time, find machine components, activate generators, etc. To be fair, this element is probably the best part of the game. I mean, it is the core element, the puzzle solving. The thing is, they never become more than just that. They're fetch and fix quests, and everything is pretty much laid out for you. There's no aha moment where you've been trying to figure out how to solve a puzzle and it comes to you. You know, there's no devious puzzles. So how do we sum this up? Well, the negative points, I've mentioned it, it's a clunky storytelling, it's cliched script and awkward delivery make it hard to take seriously. It's probably not the worst one out there, but prepare to be rolling your eyes a lot. The oxygen mechanic in the game. So both characters are on a timer for your oxygen tank. It's constantly depleting, and if you run out, your character dies. So you need to ensure you keep topping this up at oxygen stations. The issue is, it feels like you constantly have to do this. Yes, you can upgrade the tanks twice in the game, but it becomes a pain and busy work rather than a tense survival mechanic. Now, maybe it's more of a thing in solo mode because you've got to do that for both characters. But yeah, it's just to put it out there that, as I said, rather than it being a tense element in the game, it just becomes an annoying side task you have to keep doing. Weapons. You'll pick up a harpoon gun during the course of the game, and you'll need to take out the only enemy you'll find in the game, sharks, and there's possibly a couple of other aquatic villains. But the issue is the aiming, shooting and reloading mechanic is so slow, you'll definitely encounter many frustrating moments where you're trying to take these enemies out. The checkpoint system can be annoying. When you are killed by an enemy, or say you run out of oxygen, you are put a little way back, which can be annoying to continually repeat the same puzzle or actions you've done multiple times just because of the clunky controls for defeating an enemy. And controls, whilst you can get used to the controls, the camera can be quite annoying at the start. And there is the very final mission, I won't spoil it just in case, but yeah, I found that to be quite a frustrating experience. So positives, it's an interesting premise. There is a good story in there, which starts off pretty substandard, but as you go through the game, of course, there's twists and turns and there's a bigger plan at play that only your characters can stop. It's just a shame it wasn't handled better, and it's wrapped around that clunky storytelling. Puzzles, as mentioned, the puzzles aren't overly taxing, and this does mean there's a constant feel of progression. So, summary, would I recommend this game? I'm not sure I can. As a game, none of its components shout out as being better than anything currently on the market. As I mentioned, it's got an intriguing concept and a couple of decent puzzle sequences, but it's dragged down by weak presentation, dated visuals and frustrating mechanics. In today's co-op landscape, with games like It Takes Two and Split Fiction setting the bar, I think this one struggles to justify itself. I reckon maybe only worth considering if you are desperately looking out for a local co-op option. But again, I would recommend you have a look at some online gameplay before you make the decision. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week for another episode of Gaming Reviews.